You have heard these two words your entire life as a car person, torque and horsepower. And if someone asks you to explain the actual difference, not the definition, the real difference, the one you could actually feel while you are driving, could you? Most people can't, and that's not their fault. Nobody ever explained it properly. By the end of this video, you will be able to explain it very clearly. A 400 horsepower car that feels slower than a 320. A diesel that embarrasses a sports car off the line. An EV with 600 pound-feet of torque that runs out of pull before you have hit motorway speed. None of this is a coincidence, it's physics. And by the end of this, you will exactly know what's going on and why. Let's get into it. Torque is force. That's it. When you pull away from traffic lights, torque is what shoves you back into your seat. It's the twist the engine produces to turn the wheels. It doesn't care about speed. It just pushes. And crucially, torque shows up early. On a turbocharged engine, it can hit peak from as low as 1500 RPM. You barely have to rev it at all. That's why a diesel lorry can pull 40 tons from a standstill without drama. Massive torque available immediately. That's torque doing its job. Now flip it. Horsepower isn't a force at all. It's a rate. Torque is someone shoving you from behind. Horsepower is their ability to keep sprinting alongside you, maintaining that push as your speed keeps climbing. Horsepower builds as revs climb. It peaks late. 6,000, 7,000, sometimes 9,000 RPM on a naturally aspirated engine. That's why an old naturally aspirated sports car feels like nothing is happening until you commit to the revs and the whole car suddenly comes alive. Low RPM, torque is doing the work. High RPM, horsepower takes over. They literally cross each other at one specific point on the power curve. Every engine, every time, that crossing point is where the character of a car changes. Here's where it gets interesting. Peak horsepower is listed at 1 RPM. Peak torque is listed at 1 RPM. But your engine doesn't live at its peaks. It lives across a range. And that range is what actually defines how the car drives. A turbo engine might hold peak torque all the way from 1750 RPM to 4500 RPM. That's a huge usable window. You are in that band every time you overtake a normal road. A naturally aspirated engine might technically hit a higher torque peak, but only in a narrow window near the top of the rev range. The number looks better on paper. The drive tells you a different story. And EVs, electric motors, produce maximum torque from 0 RPM. Instantly, no delay, but they don't hold it. Past a certain speed, the torque drops significantly. That's why an EV with double the torque can still get beaten on a top speed run. More torque on paper, less pull when it actually matters. If this is the kind of thing you want to understand about cars, subscribe. Next video goes even deeper. You will want to see it. Honestly, manufacturers could just publish the full torque curve and save everyone the confusion. They don't. So here's what to look for yourself. Look at the RPM figure next to the torque number. Is peak torque available from 1500 RPM to 5000 RPM? One of those you feel every time you leave a junction. The other one you will feel twice on a track day. Check if there's a torque band, a range, not just a single point. A wide flat torque curve is worth more in real world than a big headline peak. And for EVs, find the power curve graph if the manufacturer publishes one. That tells you more in 10 seconds than any single number ever will. The horsepower figure tells you the ceiling. The torque curve tells you how you live inside it every single day. So next time someone brings up the torque versus horsepower debate, you will actually know what they're talking about. And more importantly, you will know what they're missing. But that raises the next question. If the torque curve matters this much, what actually happens when you modify it? When you tune in the engine, fit a bigger turbo, remap the ECU? The numbers change, but not always the way you would expect. That's exactly what we are breaking next. So subscribe and stay curious.